This is my second video on how to set up part-to-part and part-to-total proportions. In my first video, I set up a part-to-total proportion because I looked at the number of girls and the number of total students. In this video, it's going to be a part-to-part proportion, but I'm going to set it up by using the exact same steps. And those steps are here. The first thing I'm going to do is read the problem and set up a ratio table with both variables along with a new variable called total. So the problem says the ratio of apples to oranges at the fruit store is 9 to 7. If there are 217 oranges, how many apples are there? From the first sentence, I can see that the two variables I'm going to be looking at are apples and oranges. And I know that there's going to be 9 apples for every 7 oranges. And I also know that the third variable that they want me to set up is going to be total. And if I have 9 apples and 7 oranges, I'm going to have a total of 16 apples and oranges. The next thing I'm going to do is read the last sentence to see which of these three variables I'm going to use in my proportion or my double number line. The last sentence says, if there are 217 oranges, how many apples are there? Well, the two variables I'm using in this sentence are apples and oranges. So therefore, the two variables I'm going to use to set up my proportion are going to be apples and oranges. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write my first ratio on the left-hand side, and I'm going to get my first ratio from my ratio table. The variables in my first ratio have to be apples and oranges. So I know that there's 9 apples for every 7 oranges, so there's my first ratio, 9 apples to 7 oranges. The next thing I'm going to do is read the last sentence, and my last sentence says, if there are 217 oranges, how many apples are there? So I know from the clue from the last sentence that there's going to be 217 oranges. So I'm going to put the 217 down with the oranges, and I'm trying to find how many apples there are. So I'm going to put an X where the apples are. Now I've set up a part-to-part proportion, which I can easily solve.